Hey, mates, welcome once again into the Little Dum Dum Club for another week. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dassolo, and with me, as always, the other half of the program, Carl Chandler.
G'day, dickhead.
Joining us today, we have two very special guests beaming in from the same room from Western Australia. Please welcome back into the Little Dum Dum Club, Andrew Wolfe and Dave Callan.
Yes. Well, we can touch each other.
It's the first time we've been in a room together, really.
Yeah, what?
No,
We've been in rooms together.
Yeah, but not privately, like.
Not like a secret room.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's it like to be in a room with another person?
Oh, wow. Well, cast your minds back. I'm sure you'll recollect back in the hazy depths of history.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
4 times.
I can't tell because I'm on a lot of anxiety pills and antidepressants, so I don't really feel much. It feels very flat. Everything feels the same. I'm on enough meds.
Yeah, I reckon you should up the dosage, but anyway.
I think I do need more, but you're on meds as well, aren't you? Are you guys all on meds? I've realised almost half of Australia is on SSRIs, so you have to be on them. Otherwise, it's like rocking up to a party sober. To me, everyone's sort of on
hang on.
Imagine.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think the vaccine is?
The vaccine? Mate, have you guys had them? I've had the vax and I've been sick for days.
We can tell you've been vaccinated, Wolfie. We can tell.
Mate, I got vax and a spade. They neutered me.
Oh, great. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I was like, why are you stitching up my testicles after this? I don't know what's going on. I don't have the vax.
Yeah.
And they said, this is for the good of society. Mark McGowan has deemed that this is necessary.
Yeah, so it is exciting. Melbourne's still in lockdown. Me and Tommy are in different houses, obviously in lockdown. You guys are in Perth. We just thought this would be a nice treat for us to actually see 2 other people in a room together and not have 4 different Zoom connections. So everyone's talking over the top of each other. We've lost one little bit of awkwardness for this week.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Cool. Yeah. And we've introduced one more bit of awkwardness because we had quite a charade getting here. I went to a train station. And I didn't realize that Perth train stations would be that complex. You would imagine it would just be 1 entry exit, possibly 2.
You grew up there.
You think,
This place was like Shibuya in Tokyo. It was like Wolfe was in another suburb.
It was like
Callan.
It felt like a drug drop.
Yeah,
I didn't know. It's like, where are we picking them up? And you didn't even, you said at one point, Scarborough Beach Road, that's not where the train station is. And then I thought it must be at another one.
I'm like, Glendale, that would be, Scarborough Beach train station.
Here's something else that's not that complex. Getting your driver's license. What do you think about that?
Wow. God.
It felt like a bit of a power move because, we were here ready to go on the call. Me and Carl have been waiting for about 15 minutes for you guys to turn up from the train station. And it felt like a power move of you guys going, what better have you got to do? Just sit in the house and wait for us. We're just going to fucking drive around the city, go for a stroll, live it up over here. Might pop in the pub on the way to the podcast. We were like, you can't even get mad. We're just both sitting here in the Zoom window, just not really talking because we want to save the energy for the pod, just going like, I mean, I can't really pretend that this is eating into any big plans for this evening.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Man, Dasslo just like, what have you been up to? Nothing. What have you been up to? Yeah.
At one point, there was like 2 minutes of silence, and then Carl goes, what's for dinner after this?
Oh, my Lord. We should have hammed it up. We could have had photos of us getting Slurpees down the beach.
Oh,
We'll be there in a minute.
And like entwining arms and having fairy floss on like a ride.
Oh, on a Ferris wheel. Dave wanted to pop down to the beach to cool off.
I wanted
to clear his head.
I wanted to pop the question.
Oh, mate.
Yep.
But you were doing power moves to me as well because you were like, where were you? You're a scab. And then I realized, I'm picking you up. I apologize. You're a legal part.
Yeah, it's hard to power play the guy with the car and the podcast. I'm a dude who lives at Edith Cowan Joondalup in Student Village.
Mate, I actually hate.
Hang on. Let's get into this. Dave Callan. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this setup. So, Wolfie, you're a long-time Perth resident. Now, Dave Callan is a recent-ish Perth resident. You've moved back.
Yep.
You did a thing last year that everyone should have done, which was move out of Melbourne and go to Perth. Which I'm really genuinely surprised more stand-up comedians didn't do because Perth hasn't sort of been in lockdown much at all. So everyone's just been. There's only 5 comedians over there, and you're all headlining a gig every night of the week. There's so many.
5's very generous. There's 2 or 3.
There's us
So-
and maybe one other one.
Yeah.
So Dave Callan, that means so you whipped over to Perth. You're out there gigging with Wolfe every night. Now, this is the next thing. Now there's been a bit of a sea change for you as well, on top of everything else. Now you've moved from Melbourne, full-time comic over here. You've gone over there to be a full-time comic over there, but you're diversifying over there at the moment as well, aren't you? What else are you doing now?
I'm doing a Bachelor of Science majoring in counter-terrorism, surveillance, and intelligence.
That is for people at home. This is a real thing. This is not a joke. This is what Dave Callan is actually doing. He was dancing around on stage like a ninja for years, and now he's gone one step further in terms of sneakiness.
What does it lead to? Is it like the James Bond 007 course?
Hopefully it will lead to a job at Scotland Yard.
Oh yes.
Oh, there you go.
I got it in first. I did it first, so they could.
Yes, that's very good. That's the bit that you call where you hang out your washing, isn't it? That's your Scotland Yard, isn't it?
Is that why you guys were 15 minutes late? You were driving around the block workshopping that one? Like,
Yeah. The thing is, I didn't really want to do the course. It was just a very, very expensive setup for this podcast.
yeah, great.
It's
Playing the long game.
I had to do essays and shit. It was
It's actually
terrible.
worth it though, Dave. It's paid off big time.
Yeah, we're using this for the ad this week, so yeah, it's going to be good.
But Dave now lives on campus though, hey? And I was initially going to mock him, but then I realized we were both living with our parents. And he's actually up there. I was like, you don't have to sneak out anymore, Dave. I used to throw rocks at the window going, can you come out? Your parents going to strike you?
You two losers are living with your parents, whereas we're living by ourselves in a house we can't leave. We're the real fucking winners.
Right.
I think, Carl, by the way, the reason more comedians didn't do what I did is because there's this thing where you can't predict the future.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And in fact, I came back to Perth and I went into lockdown last November. Well, not lockdown, quarantine. The quarantine you got to do for 2 weeks. In my parents' house, they gave up their bedroom because you need an ensuite. And
What? So you took the double bed?
Down. I took there's a double bed in the guest room. So they took that. And then I was in the room with the ensuite, their room. And Mum would wheel down meals 3 times a day. The police come and check twice. They don't tell you when. So there'd be like a knock on the window and I'd open the curtain and boys in blue would be there. And I'm like, hey, boys, sorry about the dick. And, have a quick chat.
On the window.
Do a little squash frog for the fellas.
Oh, wow.
The fact was, during that 2 weeks, like I left Melbourne at the end of the second lockdown, the 111-day one. You remember it well? You're probably
rings a bell
right now, in fact. But yeah, so is my mic still on? Yeah, there we go. So basically what would happen is I would sit there in the morning and look at the news and just see social media. Melbourne's opened up. Melbourne's getting back to normal. People are going out. People are enjoying life. I'm locked up in Perth going, I did the wrong fucking thing here. This is not a good idea. But you don't know what's going to happen. Like Perth it would rip through Perth, I think, if it came here. So we're lucky that the leader we have is such I guess draconian is a strong word, but he's very, very intent on keeping those borders shut as long as possible.
That's right. Your premier is not letting. Well, that's the thing that I find weird about you doing this counter-terrorism course. Mate, I don't think you need it over in Perth. Your premier's not letting anyone into your state. So there's not going to be any fucking terrorism.
Yeah, okay. Nobody gets in or out.
Unless someone can make a bomb out of a fucking emu bitter can or something. Like, I don't think you've got too much to worry about over there.
I heard McGowan's actually at the airport checking people as they come in on a horse. He's actually at the airport. He checks teeth and go, not for you, mate. Like a bouncer. How many vaccines have you had today, mate? No, you're going to head back.
So Dave, you're out of the parents' house and now you're living on campus, studying this counter-terrorism, living on campus like Van McWilder.
Yeah, that's what I said in the
McHugman liaison. I was living with my parents in Armadale and I love them, but 8 months living with your parents in your 40s is a long time. And Armadale's a long way away. It's about an hour south of Perth. Joondalupe's an hour north, so I'm commuting the first half of the year, 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and I was like, I need to do something. So I moved onto campus. Love life still hasn't come back, obviously, because
you're the coolest guy on campus right now.
Well,
when you say to a woman, "Hey, come back to my sweet padded Joondalupe ECU,"
trying to
we got beer pong,
trying to pick up sexy co-eds by saying, I was on Rove, and they're like, what's that? That show finished before we were born.
Yeah, and also I love that I'm sick of living with my parents. Oh, finally, I've got my own pad where I actually have to sign in if I bring a guest home. So yeah, cool.
Oh my God, it's true. They gave us an induction and they said, so you can have people stay over. I'm like, unlikely. And they said, but you've got to make sure that they come over to the office and get signed in. And I'm like, that is not going to happen. I'm not going to convince anyone. Not that I would try and convince someone, but A, B. Like, imagine if you did somehow, you meet someone and they think nothing matters. I just want to be with you, and then they come back and you're like, before we get carried away, can you pop your pants back on and we'll go and get you properly registered at the office with Patricia?
Yeah. Yeah, forget the condoms. The true form of contraception happening right there.
Mate, we actually had
get your QR code scanner.
I had a friend in London. In London, I had a friend whose dad was the head of Department of Foreign Affairs, and they lived at the Tower of London.
What?
So in the back, there's sort of politicians or the high up dignitaries sort of in there. So when he picked up, he would say, "Do you want to come back to mine?" And they're like, "Where is it?" The Tower of London. Torture chamber. And they're like, "What is this?"
He'd bring back a girl and say, "Do you want to become an honorary beef eater?"
And they're like, "I don't think I want to come with you. I've just met you an hour ago. I'm not coming."
If he didn't use that line, that guy's fucking wasted that opportunity. That is fucking great. Anyway,
but, Dave, what's the deal? Like, is there fraternities at this Joondalupe?
I don't know. I don't leave my room. I'm afraid I'll be involved in a hazing ritual.
I can imagine
I'll just end up outside in the nude with shaving cream over my parts.
What's the pad like? What's the Callan bachelor pad like? Have you got doors, posters up? Or you bought a few bongs for it, or what's
got
happening?
You got an American Pie poster up there.
Yeah, making it feel like 1993 again. I've got Pearl Jam 10.
Yes.
I've got Nirvana in utero poster.
Yep.
Bit of Chili Peppers.
Reading Kerouac.
Yeah, definitely. I'm listening to a lot of S Club 7.
Yeah.
That part was true of the last 10 years.
What's your main exercise? Panty raids with the boys?
But I was like last year I had this weird moment where I was in a nightclub, and it was like a golf club. I used to go golf clubbing when I started uni, and I just come from a gig. I was at a golf club with a mate from way back then in the early 90s, and I realized I'm going to uni and I'm living with my parents, and 9 Inch Nails was on, and I was like, holy shit, I'm back. I've gone back. Everything's reset. And I felt beautiful and awful at the same time.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, where's the Perth Doc Brown? We've got to get back to the future.
Such a good diet.
So Dave, are you in your classes? Are there people that you're studying with that like recognize you from comedy? Like, are you having future members of ASIO come down to check you out at the comedy rooms at night?
Well, I sat down on day one. I got to uni, and I sat down. I hadn't been to uni before this, and I sat and I got my pencils out and my little notepad. And like it was about maybe 40 seconds. And I just hear this voice beside me go, "Are you Dave Callan?" 40 seconds.
Oh, wow.
God damn it.
That's great.
That's the only person.
That's great. You have such a recognizable voice. The idea of you doing like counter-terrorism where you're like, you know, talking to someone on the phone, trying to like suss out if they're Taliban or whatever, and then them going, "Oh, I loved you on Mid Dawns on Triple J."
Yeah.
Say trousers.
Yeah. Yeah,
I actually did an interview on Nova 92.9 over here, and then I didn't know how much I could say, but I just sort of talked about the ridiculous aspects. And then And then the next week at uni, one of the lecturers came up and went, "Oh, I heard your interview on the radio." And I'm like, "Oh, ha 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 ha." I'm trying to remember what I said, and I was like, "Oh, I probably failed the unit now for talking about it, ha ha." And she was like, "No, it was very good," with a very straight face, and then kind of walked away. And I'm like, "Did she think it was very good? Do they like me talking about it?" And then
I was going to say, if you're doing any form of spycraft or whatever, I would have thought number one rule is don't go on commercial radios and fucking talk about it.
Oh yeah, what have you done, Dave?
Yeah,
You can never work in the industry.
Well, then
You just said it on the podcast.
yeah, and then Perth Now did a story about it. The next day, they were like, "Oh, comedian returned to home. Dave Callan doing counter-terrorism, living with his parents in Armadale." The part I didn't want mentioned was the Armadale parents part.
Oh, that was
That's
embarrassing.
the part I was like, trying to keep secret at all costs.
I reckon if you're into spying and ASIO and all this counterterrorism, you don't want to be like on commercial radio. It's never like you never listen to a breakfast show that's like Sally Wobbsy and we can't tell you who.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to,
Yeah.
supposed to
Sally
sort of keep that
Wobbsy
shit
and
to yourself.
redacted in the morning.
Redacted in the morning. That sounds
Oh,
awesome.
that's so good.
Oh my
What's
God,
the secret
yes.
sound? Now we know it's a beheading video, but specifically which one? That's what we need you
Yeah.
to call in and
We
guess.
do have a secret sound, but the thing is, we can never tell you what the sound is.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll take
We've
it to
got
the
to keep
grave
that
with us. You can torture us as
Oh
much
my
as you
God.
want. We are never telling you that it's the sound of a dunny flushing.
And listen to Friday to hear the officially declassified sound. It has been secret up until now.
It's going to be released.
Yeah.
But what's the protocol
took
with
my-
this
yeah.
qualification though? Because you've now told people you've got it.
Yeah.
So in 3 years, do you just go, "Oh no,
Just kidding.
Wasn't that interested
Yeah,
anymore."
they kicked me
Yeah,
out.
they go, we saw you go in the city doing the interview, and you're like, "Nah, it's not working out.
Yeah.
I've just disappeared."
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah,
that's
what-
just
what-
the
what-
cover for the fact that I've gone deep on the cover.
Yeah.
Which
You
I
could
can
be-
never do because they'll just Google my name and it'll come up. "Oh, I did an interview with such and such and such and such on this radio station," and then Perth Now did a story about it the next day. I didn't mind the radio; it's there and it's gone. But the newspaper, the Perth newspaper, doing a story about it, that's online. That's there forever. So people can
Yeah.
Google me if I do end up working in the industry. Google me.
Yeah.
And go, aha.
Yeah,
this
because
guy's
they
a
can spot
fucking spy."
that guy followed me on the train.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
in a
gonna be-
suit, Secret Service.
You're going to be wearing a
Well,
trench
maybe.
coat out the front of Parliament House one day, and someone's going to come up, and you're going to be like checking them out, and they're going to go, "Callan, I know you're on the case. I heard you on Freo FM. Fuck off."
Yeah, exactly.
But it's such a great decoy now because if you drop out and then you never get a job again, you can just say, "No, I work with ASIO now." Do you know what I mean? If you're actually on the job.
It
That's a
explains
good
all the
cover.
holes in my resume.
Yes,
the
that's
Secret
a good
Service.
cover
You
for your
can tell your
career.
new partner. You can go, "No, it's all Secret Services now." I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you're not working because you're still at your
Yeah.
parents.
yeah.
Secret Service.
I
It's a big
redacted all
job,
the
I'm a
TV shows
spy
I've been
now.
on.
Oh, mate. So, what would be the natural job out of that? Is it actually
Oh.
Secret Service?
Look, I have to say that it's a great course. I don't have to say it. I would like to, but maybe I have to because they're listening. But I would like to say that it's a great course, really, really high level, but it's also very dry in the first year so that you end up, what that means is you end up doing things like risk assessments and learning all about the different types of fire alarm. It's like,
Okay.
really?
Okay.
Oh, when do we get to flashbangs? One minute I use a flashbang.
Mate, do you do like fire escape sort of plans? And
Yeah,
sort of-
yeah,
because
definitely.
you need some work on that, exiting that train station.
Holy shit, yeah.
Also-
yeah.
If
You're
you're
like,
trying
"We're
to,
gonna
if you're trying to prevent some sort of terrorism attack, probably don't try and scab a lift on the way there. Probably have your own transport.
Where were you, Dave? And I go, "I got the bus. I got out the wrong exit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
blown up."
How come the MCG got blown up? Oh, because Wolfe was late with the ride. Oh, okay, fair enough.
What I'd like to
Pickup
know,
car was
Dave,
at the wrong station.
what I'd like to know, Dave, if you can check in with me if this ever comes up, because I've got a mate who does this kind of stuff for a job, and he like can't be specific about anything that he does in his job. He used to live in Canberra. He would go in, leave the phone in a locker on the way in. He couldn't even talk to it with his wife, like, you know, no particulars about what he does. And we would go to a music festival with him every year, and he would get legless. Like by the, you know, we're all having a good time. I'd have a few drinks, and all the rest of us would be like, "This is it. This is the moment where we can find out what he's doing in there." And we'd be like, "So, tell us a bit about the day-to-day job." And he'd just like, be like pretty on one, just like, "Nice try, fellas." It's like, when do they teach you that? When do they just like put you in the chamber and just like ply you with alcohol and then ask you about the job and just see if you can keep it mum for the entire time? Really impressive.
That'd be great fun training. I can't wait for that unit.
Yeah, that's really great.
Here's how to keep stum even while wasted on different substances.
I think Wolfie could probably join the course on that part of it, I reckon.
Well, as Tommy always says, I've been practicing for that for years. Hey, ask me on Epstein Island, I won't tell you. Every weekend I've been preparing.
The first time I met Wolfie was maybe about 3 or 4 years ago at Brendan Maloney's house.
Oh, this was a rough night.
I'm like, this is a rough night. Narrow it down, Wolfie. So you were being very mischievous that night. I don't know what you were on, but maybe there was some alcohol at least.
Yeah, that's more.
I was sitting on the step having a very serious conversation with Brendan, and then all of a sudden I just feel like intense pain on a small surface area of my scalp. And I turn around, this guy's yanking my ringlets.
Mate,
it's like going yank, yank.
I thought it was Santa Claus. I had to check.
Santa has a red suit, mate, and presents.
I'm like, Santa's here. No, I do remember because we went back to Brendan's and I was obsessed with your beard, trying to stroke her.
Oh yeah, you were doing that too. Yeah.
It wasn't good, really. But did I or didn't I reveal any of my secrets? I kept them all down low.
Yeah, you didn't blab about nothing. You didn't tell everyone I was Scottish like these are. So
yes. Well, can I ask one more question? We can't talk about ASIO and your course for the whole hour, but now the idea of you getting into this course, how did that come up? How did you actually? What happened to make you want to enroll in this course?
So I'm doing Perth Fringe World at the end of January, and I'm at the back of the venue. There's a smoking area, and I'm in the smoking area, and this girl comes up and goes, "Oh, heard you joke about Edith Cowan," because I have this joke because Edith Cowan was only 3 years old when I first went there. It was a new uni, and it was kind of had a reputation for being not that great, but it's great now. But at the time, it was kind of the joke uni. Would you say that's changed?
I think it's still the joke uni.
Oh shit!
To be honest.
Look at you, Dave Callan, the Dave O'Neill of Perth, getting up there and ripping into the unis.
No, I'm only joking. You're at Edith Cowan, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
It's
a good. Yeah, it's come up in.
And also
reputation.
Yeah, also getting Andrew Wolfe to judge universities. Yeah, I don't think we need to chisel this in stone.
There to say, and you're going, it's obviously come leaps and bounds, and I'm like, no, it's still a tape. It sucks. Wasting your money. It's actually quite good now. It has got a good reputation.
I had a joke where I wanted a degree that would open doors, because that was the advertising back then. This degree will open doors, and I'm like, yeah, it opened the front doors at Centrelink Morley. Really kind of not self-deprecating. It was uni-deprecating, but self-deprecating was still.
No gear on the pod, but first warning. But anyway, keep going.
Look, I did. I'm not doing it to be funny. I'm not like to say anyway.
Oh, you're quoting yourself. Sorry.
But not to be funny.
It opens doors with the doorman job.
It could do.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to crowbar in a crap joke.
Oh,
no.
So
it didn't work.
So anyway, I was at the back and I was having a duck sandwich.
Oh, very nice. I said no gear on the pod.
What if it's someone else's gear?
I'll allow it. Yeah,
so,
sure.
So this girl comes up and goes, "Oh, I heard you read this Cowan joke," and I'm like, "Uh-oh," and she goes, "Yeah, I go there," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, what are you studying?" And she goes, "Counter-terrorism," and I'm like, "Whoa, what?" And she goes, "Counter-terrorism." I'm like, "Well, they do that at Edith Cowan Joondalup?" And she's like, yeah. In fact, it's the best of its kind in the world, and it's the first of its kind in the world. I think there's others now, but it was the first, and it's the best, and it's there." And I'm like, I can't believe that happens. And I said, are they still taking admissions? And she goes, "Yeah, well, a week's gone by, but they are taking them up until the end of week 3, I think."
All these students are so vocal with their course, just
yeah. Yeah, I do
They
that.
know nothing. They're gonna keep it a secret.
It's flipping great thing to say at a party. It's an
Yeah.
icebreaker. You
They're just
kidding me?
these loose lips. These people
I know.
can't resist.
I think once they stop talking about it, that's when you're obviously in halfway through second year. Something will
Yeah.
happen, and it's like, yeah, don't talk about this. Anyway, but for now, once you start learning how to assassinate, I think.
Yeah.
But, for now, it's all risk assessments. It's
But-
pretty dry.
So,
Anyway, so I said I thought I'll apply for this because I don't know if Perth's going to get locked down. At least I can keep studying online. I don't have much to do during the day. I want to get out of the house because my parents live there. So I'm gonna study again. I'm gonna go back, oddly, to my first ever university. I was at Little Dum Dum Club in 1993, year of our Lord.
Wow.
And so I applied that night. The night I met that girl, I applied at like midnight. And then I woke up at like 8 o'clock.
did you, Callan?
I've been-
Can I ask this? Did you apply with a hard on? Did you have a hard on while you were applying?
Why is that relevant?
Well, you met a girl and immediately went home and applied to her university. To be in the same
Yeah.
It does sound a little bit weird.
Yeah, did she had to
Now that you mention it.
did she had to register at the office of your parents' house that night?
Yeah, go register with Kath Callan and we'll get you scanned in the
Holy
QR.
shit! Have you seen her at the course?
Yes, I
Oh,
have.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So-
It's if you're like, will you go out on a date with me? No. Well, how about you just see me every day from 9 until 5 o'clock?
Oh my god! But now that you put it that way, it's super sinister.
Yeah.
I just like
Or-
the idea of the course.
You ask her out now that you're in class. You're like, will you go out with me? And she's like, no. And you're like, hey, I've found one. She's a terrorist. So we've got a live one here.
Yeah. It's an inside job.
This really does reek of like if this was like the Dave Callan spy movie where it's like, you know, we see you at uni and then we cut ahead and it's like this whole big mission that you're on. And then we see like the enemy, and the big twist at the end of the film is we go back in time and it's like this woman has like gone and gotten you to sign up for this like counter-terrorism course just to sort of, because she thinks you'll be bad at it, you know, just to have you in the mix. She feels like a plant. She feels like an
Is
operative.
she like a Manchurian
Yeah.
candidate? Is
Yeah.
that what's going on?
Yeah, a bit of that kind of thing.
Like a honey trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lured you in, Trojan horse you in.
Yeah.
And
Can
then
I
she
ask one more?
eventually dates you and manipulates what you do.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm now
One more
looking at
question.
it. I'm Inspector Clouseau.
One more question. With your counter-terrorism course, at the end of the year, do you have to go across the other side of the campus and take on all the students that are taking just the normal terrorism course and like fight it out? See who passes?
I sincerely hope so. Like a big rumble, like West Side Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the clicking and the dancing from all my Scottish dances. So
Yes.
I'll be able to do it really well.
No, that's if your course wins, then you get to graduate. So this year, counter-terrorism, we beat them. We're getting the degrees. Everyone's studying terrorism. You got beaten.
Yeah.
You've got to be here for another year, and better luck.
Yeah. I love it
good.
that it's like a yearly thing. So then, like, you start your course this year, and it's like, right, guys, I know you guys are new, so I'll just explain. We take them on every year, and we need revenge. We lost last year. That's why 3/4 of the university has been destroyed, because the terrorism students did win. You'll notice all the smoking embers over there. We've got to get them back this year. We can't afford to lose the one building we've got left.
The last chance.
Yeah, the police academy's gone. It's just shells. Of that building. Oh, the police academy's next door, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, the WA Police Academy is on campus.
Wolfie, why don't you become a neighbour of Callan? Why don't you sign up for that?
Mate, I'll sign up. I'm just going to see what sort of girls are in the course.
I don't think
You know,
Wolfie
it's
had even
funny
passed the test to get into the police academy stunt show, to be honest.
I've had enough interactions with the police in my life.
Right.
But to be honest, I actually see some of the comedians, because we don't have many in Perth, they work on the police academy and do the simulations. Have you seen it?
No.
Nadia Collins does it. And so I've seen video clips where they'll show footage of a junkie, and I'm like, hang on, that's a Perth comedian.
Oh, and like training videos.
Give me the money. Give me the fucking money. And they're practicing. I'm like, everyone that comes on, I'm like, dude, I've gigged with that guy. That's it, number 3. He's the guy that screeches down at Fremantle.
How did somebody get method number 3 over you?
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm the head boss.
That's brutal. That's brutal because we're from over here in Melbourne. We're watching all you guys in Perth. Not only are you getting all the stand-up gigs, you're getting the police training video gigs as well. We've got fucking nothing going on over here.
How to do a police training video over Skype, isn't it?
Well, mate, you guys have a great dinner prepared for tonight. You got a lot to look forward to, eh? What are you guys eating? What are you having for dinner tonight?
I'm having
pizza?
I'm having black bean soup. Looking forward to that. That's going to be really good.
Yeah, I've yet to prepare mine. But Wolfie, so we've talked enough about Callan. So Callan's, I guess, day job, maybe. I guess that's what you call it at the moment. But let's get back onto Wolfie's day job.
I just very quickly, I just want to very quickly point this out because you were saying before there's 5 comedians in Perth currently. And is this correct? Of those 5 comedians in Perth currently, 2 of them are called Dave Callan. I just wanted to point that out because that is a ratio that is worth bringing up. Almost 50% of the working comedians in Perth have the same.
It's true.
All right, there's another Dave Callan here. There's another Dave Hughes coming up as well. He's just started. The guy called Dave Hughes.
Yeah.
John Pinder.
John Pinder was one of the driving forces behind creating the comedy festival in Melbourne, the Melbourne Comedy Festival. John Pinder, R.I.P. God rest his soul. There's another John Pinder here.
Okay.
But my favourite's the young Carl Chandler that's just started out.
Oh yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he makes a go of using that name because it hasn't fucking worked for me. So good luck.
Yeah. He'd never heard of you. He'd Google.
He does a great little routine about a goose roll.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Goose is really excited to be around a bread roll.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. And where does this? What country does this second Dave Callan come from?
Oh, you are kidding me.
This is huge. You're going to love this.
You need to get him on. Get him on
Drum roll. And Tommy, you've got the drums behind you.
Yeah, I'll hop on. I'll patch it in later.
And he is from a country called Scotland.
Yes, a copy in every single way. A perfect
not every.
But everyone tells him that he's from Ireland. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Are they doing that because of these jerk stores, or do people just not know?
Well, I always thought he's from Ireland, and I think he is. The flip.
Keep that going. That's great.
But all right, Wolfie.
Yes.
I've got to say one more thing about this Dave Callan guy. I said to him, I met him 5 years ago in Edinburgh. He came to one of my shows and he said, I came to your show because we have the same name. And I went, what? And he was a short, back and sides, clean shaven kid with glasses. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And he goes, I'm doing comedy now. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, in that case, whatever you do, don't come to Australia. And whatever you do, don't specifically go to Perth and marry a Perth comedian. Because then there'll be no getting rid of you, you fucker. And don't grow your hair long and grow a beard. And he did everything. He did all of those.
He's done all of it.
So now he's here. He's got long hair, a beard, and he's in the same town as me. And it's very confusing. He is just on with the furious. Anyway,
it's actually perfect, Callan, for you, for when you all of a sudden disappear from society and you're working undercover. He can just take on the Dave Callan appearance.
That is amazing.
The two Dave Callans
Yes.
He does DJ sets.
Oh,
a version like Pendulum used to do.
And, and little Scottish dances. It gets even better because there was a David Callan in Sydney. You know about this guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing comedy, and he did a comedy show called I Spied because he used to work for ASIO. So my name.
God.
There's already a guy taking the heat from me doing this sort of stuff. There's already a guy doing comedy. So I'm nothing. I'm like a ghost.
Yeah, you've got 3 people called Dave Callan, and they make up for about 1.5 people, really. There's only about 1.5 people's worth of fucking achievements and occupations. And
because Callan is such a rare Irish name.
I would have thought. Yeah. But
you don't hear it a lot.
You got the one in Sydney who's done the spy stuff, and you get the one here who's a Scottish comedian. I'm perfect Venn diagram.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Wolfie, your day job is, of course, we've talked to you before about. You're not a stockbroker. What do you call yourself?
A gambler.
I believe
A gambler with superannuation. Come on, snake eyes. No, you're not actually meant. You're not actually meant to say a stockbroker. It's a financial advisor. And
Right.
I've just done the course to actually get, because they've been trying to weed out the rats, because there was that big banking scandal and whatnot, and they had a new course which was it was a uni level course. Just to check, because I think a lot of the financial advisors haven't even been to uni. But I've got some bad news for you, Carl. I passed with 6 days study, so fuck no.
Oh, wow. Look at you two little Perth students over there, all being out and getting sunshine and going to pubs and getting education. Hey?
Does it not scare you? Does it not scare you though? Like non-uni educated and 6 days study, and 2 of those I was blackout drunk and I got through. So I mean, it was a 60% pass rate. So I'm like, what is wrong with these other 40%?
But what are the stocks like that you bought when you were passed out? How are they going?
The drunk stocks?
Yeah.
Mate, no, it's I don't normally drink on the job because
I don't normally. Nice.
Just on special occasions, birthdays.
Yeah.
Maybe your stocks actually you've had.
So what? Well, yeah. What's the deal? So for people who haven't heard, just when we got into the pandemic, like 18 months ago, I sent you a bunch of money. I said, right, let's do this. So I think maybe it was pre-pandemic. I'm not sure. I sent you a bunch of money, and I went, right, this money is tucked away. This is for buying a bar in Koh Samui. And you were very confident. You were like, I'm gonna move this money. I'm gonna take it upwards. I've got some good inside tips. I've got a hot tip on what's going to be the vaccine that's going to cure the coronavirus. Now, look, when I'm going back to check my details from 18 months ago, there doesn't seem to be a lot of mentions of the word Pfizer or anything like that in there. What horse are we riding on at the moment, Wolfie?
Mate, well, we pivoted away from stocks, and you're now invested in my podcast. You saw the
God damn it!
If we get enough downloads, we're going to buy the fucking bar.
Don't tell me
Patreon money.
Don't tell me Carl owns shares in the fucking bleach that Donald Trump was telling people to inject themselves with.
Yes. Oh, mate. So we had.
Am I in the horse tranquilizer? Do I own half of the horse paste or whatever?
All I can say is Joe Rogan, whatever he took, you were heavily invested in. No, you know what? It was actually such a wild ride in what you've experienced, because you halved your money on that. It was a complete disaster.
As my financial advisor, you did not tell me about this.
No, because what had happened was the out of the blue, the approval was rejected. Who could have guessed that I was wrong? But we slowly
about medical science. Yeah, who could have told?
I loved it because I was getting hammered by your listeners going, "You piece of shit, we knew you'd fail." And I had 2 people that had applied. They had applied and they go, "Actually, don't bother calling me ever again," because they saw the stock drop. But we are now up. I checked today, you're up 15% from your start thing. So a slow train to nowhere. You would have been better off in the bank. You made 15% your starting position.
You know what? Once I booked you in for like doing the pod, like a day or 2 ago, I did notice there was a flurry of emails to my account from changes being made to my stocks. So I think it was like 2 days out. Wolfie was like, "Fuck, I've got to make some money really quickly." There was a lot of
get hammered.
Of stocks and
it's
shares.
What they call in the biz window dressing. But you know what's incredible? Every time, it's always down, but every time the pod hits, we have a run. Like the stock you were in was up 18% today. So you went from down to being up 15% from a miraculous last minute recovery from yesterday. So I fucking, as always, slid under the fence, got the homework in. I passed the course the 6 days. I managed to fucking patch up the leaky ship just long enough to do the pod. By the time we come off this, it's probably dropped back down.
Yeah.
But for a brief window, all's well.
The last 2 days you were blackout drunk. Keep doing that. Whatever you did in the last 2 days, just keep doing that.
Mate, do you want to do my counter-terrorism assignments?
Mate, I don't know how I get through stuff, but I think I seem to pass the exams because I went in there and everyone looked quite smart.
You're a charmed little pixie.
I'm a lucky boy. I'm a lucky boy.
Well,
You could use Wolfie in the counter-terrorism. So what you do is, right, you send him over as the stockbroker to the Taliban. He invests all their money, and then the investments go bust, and then they go broke, and then they can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, you lose all their goats for them, and then we move in and we take back Afghanistan.
This was a lot of opium money. Where's it all gone? I'm like, you've invested in my podcast.
Yeah, next time we Zoom, Wolfie is like, I'm living in Kabul now. It's crazy over here.
My clients, and I go, the clients are angry, and I'm fucking scared.
They've got rocket launchers, man.
Yeah,
they got a goddamn rocket launch.
Chandler, we've moved all your money into shares in sand. There's heaps of it here. It's pretty fucking sturdy. It's a good option over here.
Now, but so you know what the thing is? We're still on course. This is the joy of it. 1 year in, nothing achieved. You would have been better off to get a gym membership.
Hang on. By being on course, you mean you haven't lost all of my money yet? Is that what you describe as being on course?
Do you know what happened? When it had halved, I thought, what the fuck have I done here? I need to be booking gigs in Melbourne. I've got to email the main booker and say I've trashed this fucking investment. I'm like, am I the dumbest guy ever? It's a lose-lose for me. If we make the money, you get a bar that I want. You get a fucking bar, and I'm like, I want that bar. And if I lose the money, I'm never gigging again in Melbourne. Like, I only lose. I get to go and fucking pay $10 a pint at your bar in Thailand that I don't have.
But Wolfie, no, you go, Callan.
Figure out is, are bars in Thailand cheap, or did you give him a lot of money?
Well, okay, good point. Now, this was the thing at the time. I was really into checking the prices in Thailand for bars and stuff like that. Now, since this all started, the pandemic and everything, I assume prices have plummeted. You're sort of looking around, like basically in Koh Samui, I keep looking, everything's for sale. I kind of figure that if you were over there and you just walked into a place and asked them if you could buy whatever you want, they would say yes. And you've just got to haggle on it. Yeah. So I think what I think is we haven't made a lot of money from Wolfie's shares, but what it has done is the pandemic has brought all of the prices of the bars way down. Sort of feels like in a normal way, you have won money for me on shares.
Yeah,
like we now do sort of nearly have enough money to buy a bar now. Nothing to do with you, more to do with the pandemic bringing everything back down to our level.
You're talking a lot of sense, and I think anyone listening here should get on board if they're looking for a Thai bar. And I can deliver the results when their economy collapses, and the exact money you put in is what they give you back. And you buy
honestly, so you know what? I'm about to send you something. Before this, so I know that I sent you, what I've got invested with you is $2,000. So it's up to, what is it up to, like $2,100 or something like that? No,
you're $2,300 now.
Oh, big spender.
There we go. I might pile some more money in if you're going to be this good.
I'm hoping you're not emailing a withdrawal of funds because you're my last client.
No.
You're my last chance to get out of my parents' house.
No. What I've sent you now, if you want to have a look at it, I just before we started, I found the cheapest bar I could find in Koh Samui.
Yeah.
So it is. So if we're up to $2,300, this bar is $4,000.
Okay, well, I can have that. Having not delivered to you for a year, I think I can have that in 6 weeks. If I actually get it.
Oh, really?
I think I can do it. Well, Matt.
Are you going to invest in terrorism now that you know who's fighting for the other side of it?
Dude, it was so funny though, because we went drinking last weekend and we ended up at the casino at 5 o'clock. And then I suddenly realized how similar my job was to gambling. Because I had a couple of guys that obviously have gambling problems, and they were so where they're all sort of superstitious. We're going to stand on this table. We're going to do this, like you're going to win, and it's just total random. We're obviously all left with no money, but the penny dropped. I'm like, fuck. In many ways, that's what I do, but during the day in a suit. Do you know what I mean? It's the exact same fucking thing. Because now I honestly believe I can make $4,000 for you by. We got 3 weeks, so we can update the listeners, the drill results of the stock you're in, which I'm not giving because I don't want to get hammered in private messages like they did last time. They wouldn't stop. Vicious attacks that I brought down the head of the podcast. And but I think 3 to 5 weeks, we can have it, and then we should pull it out. And
I
just buy
love that the
cheapest
time
bar.
frame has changed every time you've said it. It went from 6 to 3 to now 3 to 5.
No, but I think for me, for my own mental health, the next win, we fucking out and we buy the cheapest bar in Thailand. The poorest house on the best street.
By the way, your mental health is dependent on Carl's money. That's the hinging factor.
I wish my accountant, when I'm doing my tax, when he'd go to me, here's what I'd like you to do just for my own mental health. Here's how I'd like you to lodge the form. There needs to be more financial advice predicated on the mental health benefits for the financial advisor.
Also, Wolfe, you need to make this money in the next 3 to 6 weeks. Do whatever you can together. Do not lose that money, because in 3 to 6 weeks, so I can buy this bar and then immediately lose all of my money through the bar, because there is no chance anyone is going to this fucking bar for the next year or so.
Yeah.
So let's aim for that. But in many ways, I want to give your money back right now, so I can at least be up. You know, it's like I'm like $300, and I'm going, congratulations, thank you very much. Get the fuck out of here. I can't handle this anymore.
Well,
by tomorrow it's 1900, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, we're looking at
update. Now I'm the hero.
We're looking at this bar called the Knee Bar, drink and food, and it's $4,000. It's been on sale for quite a while already. It's not a big bar. It's all the pictures that they've put up of it have got no customers at the place.
Exactly in our MO.
Yep. It has
the Knights Who Say Knee Bar.
No, you're banned. Just to
get a comedy.
You are back at university,
I like it.
fucking dork.
Thank you, Tommy.
It's got the worst looking living quarters out the back of it, so we can all go over and stay and work at the bar during the day and live out the back during the night. There's even a tin and wood shed for roosters to live out the back. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've really got my heart set on this bar now.
Well, let's get that done. Hey,
$4,000.
I just need. I'll go and get a carton, and we'll get the job done tomorrow.
Can there be a special room for counter-terrorism?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You get the tin. You get the tin shed out the back.
The base of operation.
With lots of flashbangs and special devices.
Yeah.
Carl, when you're saying that Wolfie's money, Wolfie hasn't done anything with your money, but that you could probably afford the bar now just because the prices have gone down. I don't know that you can say that Wolfie didn't have anything to do with that, because what he did was invest in and pump the tires up of a company that was working on a vaccine that ended up to not go anywhere, thereby prolonging the effects of the coronavirus. Had Wolfie invested in a more reputable vaccine, maybe Thailand would be out of the woods by now and prices over there would be surging. So I don't think you can be so quick to say that Wolfie didn't have some kind of effect on this happening.
So I owe Wolfie a chunk of this. I owe Wolfie a chunk of the knee bar, you say?
You owe him a rooster from that shed.
Yeah.
I think, Tommy, you make a great point. What I did was terrific. I played the long game. And anyone else looking for a rooster shed out in Thailand? Look me up.
Just look. If we don't get there, I've sent you boys the link in Facebook right at the moment. If you're looking at it and you want to pump any of your own money in there to get a share of the knee bar, this can be like a beautiful Dum Dum Club themed bar for when. We inevitably go back over there for the 2052 Koh Samui International Podcast Festival. But I do love the idea of getting this bar. If we go back over, we do another podcast festival at some stage, just as a bit of a relief for everyone that we can travel internationally again. I love the idea that we've got like the cheapest bar in Samui, the smallest, most impoverished fucking bar in Koh Samui, and everyone goes over and stays at these beautiful resorts. And then we're like, no, but you have to come to our bar now. It's 40 minutes away. It's about 2 foot by 3 foot, and it sucks. It's fucking shit. But get out of the pool and you have to come and drink with us now.
This looks so bad. This looks like such a fucking shithole.
Well, I invest professionally for a living, and you've sold me. I'm probably going to pull my own personal funds and get involved in this fucking bar. Forget stock market.
Well,
I'm going to pull
that's
the
the
last
thing.
of my savings.
Yeah, you don't. You chuck in $200. All of a sudden, you own 10% of a bar. Like 5% of a bar. It's fucking. It may not be much, but you've got a fair bit of it. That's something.
I feel like I'm in the movie The Big Short. If it was bought from Aldi.wish.com or Aldi.
But Dave, how impressed will people be at uni when you go like, I'm a mature age, but I also own a bar out in Thailand.
Yes,
that is cool. Yeah,
I'm
I'm part owner. Yeah, okay. I'll pull out my personal funds.
Yeah.
And we'll do it.
Yeah, you can have the Edith Cowell traffic light party over there. It's pretty short flight.
What about this? If you go back, you can we can make this officially the like a uni bar for Edith Cowan. Every Wednesday night, half price Changs. If you guys want to fly from Perth over to Koh Samui, we'll do you guys a deal. If you show your student ID at the knee bar, half price. We'll do you 25 baht Changs.
I liked it.
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, I liked it on the link that Carl sent. There's one of the photos is just of a car parked out the back, and they've like censored the license plate of the car. Just don't post the photo. It's the worst photo. Like, it's not.
That was when I was parked there myself doing some counter-terrorism.
Right. Just keeping an eye on things. Yeah.
I do like what are you going to do with that info? What are you going to do with the info of a number plate of a car parked out the back of the shittest bar in Koh Samui? what exactly are you going to do with that?
I think they're just embarrassed. Hey, they don't want anyone to know.
Right.
Yeah. Look them up and message them.
You can have like an exchange program with these Edith Cowan students where they go over and then can work in the bar.
Oh yeah. Maybe if
it's called learn Indonesian or learn Thai.
Can you
learn RSA?
Yeah. Can you put up some posters in the hospitality section of the uni just to get some work experience people to come over and look, all the rooster they can eat. They can use the car with the no number plate out the back. They can live in third world country in fourth world residence. At the back, it it doesn't look too bad right at the front, but out the back looks extremely dodgy.
Yeah.
It can be like a charity thing. We can say it's been hit by a cyclone or the terrorist attacked, and they're going there to rebuild what used to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful bar. When it actually was never a bar, but they can go in and do the wood decking and the hammocks.
Yeah.
Are there hammocks there? You need hammocks.
Oh,
it doesn't look like there's hammocks. There's trees, though.
I think... Yeah, by the look of the comm out the back, I reckon you'd wish for hammocks once you started staying there because you'd rather be sleeping outside than whatever the fuck they've got at the back. Hey, look, we can rename it. We can call it whatever we like if we get because that's the thing. Like, even if nothing happens, $4,000. Like, if there's a few of us and if it's free money that you've earned for us on the stock exchange, like, it's win-win. I can't really see a loss out of this.
Well, let's agree. Like, we'll tap out at $4,000 in 6 weeks.
All right,
so we can do that.
All right,
Wolfie, what's your biggest win that you've had with doing stocks for other people? Like, what's the biggest result you've got?
Me?
Yeah.
With my own money?
No, me.
I made 1.4 mil.
You did?
I made 1.4 mil in 10 days.
Fucking
now,
hell.
Now, hang on. What? Now, I don't want to go too crazy with the spoiler alerts. And given that you live with your mum and dad, did you hang on to that 1.4?
No, it didn't work. I had a house paid off in Netherlands. I made it, and then it all went away. So who knew?
Because it went away.
Well, the thing is, I got hot under the collar. I thought I was Andrew Forrest. I thought I was destined for greatness.
Yeah,
and I wasn't. I was just very lucky on a trade a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually that's where it all came apart. That big win changed me. I was cocky. I'm driving around town. I thought I was invincible. Turned out I just got really lucky.
Yeah,
it was a one hit deal. So,
well, better to have loved and lost, hey.
What a great day when I had all that money, hey. Could have been anything.
Wow.
But,
what just to be clear,
fucking devastation as it all disappeared. No, I put 300K in and turned it into 1.4.
Wow.
Oh.
Carl, how quickly can you find out what kind of bar you could buy in Koh Samui for 1.4 mil?
Well, how many times does $4,000 go into 1.4 million? We could get a franchise. Let's get a franchise. I don't want to get one good bar. I want to get about 600 shit bars.
Oh, right. You want the knee bar to be all over Koh Samui.
Yeah.
You want it to be
I
the
want to be like
Starbucks of
McDonald's.
Koh Samui. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That is what's so bad. Once you've done it once, because when I was going to lunch and I was thinking of Carl's money, I thought, okay, $2.5 grand, we get to 10, then we can get to 100. I'm like, fuck. One day, like 100's quite a lot to give to him. He'd be pretty stoked if he had $2 grand or 200. It's total bullshit. When the fuck are you going to make 100 grand, you idiot? Should have been it's at 2,300. You're an idiot. You're a gambler. But in my head, I was thinking, I said, imagine his face as I hand over 100 grand.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
What if, because the whole time you've been like, I want to be part of this. If you get this bar, I want to be part of this. What if we get it? What if we aim even higher? What if we aim for $8 grand? Because a great dream would be, okay, we don't just buy one knee bar. We buy 2 knee bars. Because my dream is, I love the Asian way of like making up a second shop, a second restaurant, but then just calling it 2. Yeah. Just like making it a sequel. So you get knee bar and then you've got knee bar 2. I would love to have a franchise, because you got to call it a franchise if there's 2 shops, right?
Maybe, well, maybe you can call it the Knights who also say knee.
Shut up, you nerd. You're lucky the Nullarbor exists, because I'll be flushing your head down the toilet right now.
Hey, Dave, after this, you got to Google the Dead Parrot sketch, dude. It's gonna fucking, mate, it's gonna blow your mind. Absolute pisser.
Tommy, you know what we were saying before off air? Like, so you've never played the drums on the podcast?
No.
Are you ever planning to do that? Like,
you've got drums behind you.
I've got drums behind me. Yeah. I could. The one thing we thought was we were saying off air, we could do like a Whiplash reenactment, that film where J.K. Simmons plays an aggressive drum teacher, and
I can absolutely play the teacher. I can do the teacher. There's no problems there. I'm happy to put my hand up to play him.
J.K. Simmons like abusing Miles Teller, even though there's no evidence that he actually is any better at the drums. So it's kind of perfect.
That's awesome. Just yelling, "Do better! I'll do better."
Yeah.
But, hey, how long have you been playing for, man? A long time or not?
Like 3 years, I think. 3 years or so, yeah. So not ages. I'm all right. Like I'm pretty good. There's a few things I can't really do very well, but yeah, I'm all right.
How do you know you're pretty good? Has someone heard it, or you just think
I played? Speaking of Koh Samui, I played in I think we did 2 different years where we had like a Koh Samui All Stars band. And we had like me on drums, and then a couple.
Callan, you were there.
Over there.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I know what you need to do at the 500 show. You're going to play on stage like that gorilla. Do you know that?
The gorilla.
What's that ad?
Oh, from the Cadbury ad.
Yeah, from the ad.
Right.
Do you think that'd be good?
And he does the Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And you turn around and they go, it's fucking, something like that. Well, look, spitballing ideas. They can't all work, but I've done well on the shares, so that's good.
Just make sure you've got a full arsenal of Bob Marley songs for when we take over Knee Bar 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, I like it because we halve the admin, because we've got the same employee. You know, the payroll's the same, and the marketing's the same. The ad campaign. What's the ad campaign? A skywriter or whatever we're going to do. Something big.
Skywriting in Koh Samui.
Launch party.
I love the idea of skywriting in Koh Samui. It's such a small island, and also there's like 10 planes going in a day, so you're just nipping up there for like 20 minutes in between flights from Singapore and Bangkok coming in.
Yeah,
you got to duck between the Jetstar, but they're always delayed, so you get big pockets. You can go and do
right.
Cheap drinks, drinks closing, and then we'll have the closing down sale over and over. Closing down, it's all gonna go.
Oh, we're like a carpet store themed bar where we just constantly close.
Changs.
I love it.
We fucked up. They're going to half price.
Speaking of big pockets, Carl, the money you owe me for the last gigs I did in Melbourne, maybe you could give it to Wolfe to try and invest to get it to my normal standard fee. I mean, it's going to be difficult, maybe, but he can try. He can try his best.
You're talking my language, Dave. I think that makes a lot of sense, Carl. Let's get this
unfortunately, like Thailand, the pandemic hit. Dave. So yeah, that's why the prices went down. Sorry about that, but
just invested into 1/4000th of the bar then.
Yeah.
McGowan's got a very strict policy. It's all locked down. You can't get the money in here.
What I love is that for the listener at home, we've been doing this it's gradually in Melbourne. The sun has gone down while we've been recording this. No lights on at the Chandler household, so we're now all watching a man in total darkness, which adds a new air to the side of a man just going, I'm gonna own a bar in Thailand. Just like now that the lights are off, it's got a completely different vibe to it.
I'm saving money because Wolfie hasn't made that extra money. I've turned off all the power in the rest of the house. I'm making up the amount that he hasn't earned.
Yeah.
I've got to compliment you guys. So you have dressed. Like I'd be in pajamas. You've dressed up. You know, you're wearing hats and shit. Probably because you're balding.
We're really dressed up. We've rolled out the red carpet for you guys.
I would be in a fucking tracksuit and like a sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like why bother? Carl looks like he might head out.
Yeah, well, I've been outside. I have spoilers. Like you're allowed outside for an hour or something, so I have been outside. You can't just give up. Like we're pros at this lockdown by now. We've done it for a long time.
Absolutely. So you have your week where it's like the tracky's fun, and then you go, I've got to start actually dressing properly in the morning. I can't just be doing months on end.
Do you have like it's 5K restrictions? So it's sort of like a dog on a chain. Like, do you know the limits at all points in your suburb, like where you hit the 5K mark? Is it 5K that you've got radius?
Yeah.
So do you know exactly, like, I can touch that post, but not that post? You sort of mapped it out?
Yeah, I roughly.
Like a dog on a chain walking around?
I've looked at like places I would go to normally and go, like, can I go to that one or can I not go to that one? Like, I don't know exactly the line, but I do know the places I can and can't go.
Yeah.
Wolfie,
and the police are like restricting it, or like they're actually out there patrolling?
I don't know.
Not really.
I don't know.
Wolfie, no offense, but I really hope we get to see the day of you doing a months-long lockdown like this, because it would be it would be fascinating to observe what happens.
It is definitely going to hit Perth. We've been cocky for too long. Hey, I'm sure we're going down.
You when you won your 1.3 million.
Mate,
yes.
It's going to hit, and I've been with my parents for too long now. And it's going to be, I don't know what might happen, eh?
You can live with me in June.
Someone's going missing. I probably need to get into this. I might enroll into anti-terrorism.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. Oh, do it. That'd be great.
We can have fun.
Yeah, we will. We'll dress in suits.
All right.
And drive Aston Martin.
Do you get a spy name or not? Like,
not in year one. Maybe in year two. What would yours be?
Just triple O. You know, zero, no money, all lost.
Yeah, Triple O, named after the profits of my shares. Yeah,
James Bond, Triple O, bankrupt.
Dave, you got in there. You're not allowed to have any. You're not allowed to have any O's in your code name because that's Irish, and that would be inappropriate. So
I'd be double Nick 7.
All right, well, let's wrap it up for another week on the Little Dum Dum Club. Andrew Wolfe, Dave Callan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, boys.
Wolfie, you've got your money podcast, sure thing.
Sure thing, but Thailand bar coming soon to you guys. 6 weeks time.
Fuck yes.
That's more important.
Yes. Sure
Nice.
Yeah.
Sure
6
thing
weeks.
podcast.
We might put up like an update on the socials and stuff. Like we'll put like a bit of a like a telethon, like what we're up to, how much money we've raised for the bar over the next 6 weeks, just to put the pressure on you.
And we can have like the countdown, the 6-week countdown, and I'll trade against it using Chang beers, and we'll trade each day, and you can update the actual balance. But I'm telling you, if it drops below $2,000. Again, I'm fucking out. I'm giving you your money back. I want to get gigs in Melbourne. I can't risk it.
He's going on the run.
What I'm really hoping is I want you to base, the share prices going up with Sydney's coronavirus cases. If you can, we could just make a wall graph like that. That'd be fucking great.
If I can outperform the spread of COVID in Sydney, you'll be happy.
That's it.
Perfect.
Dave, have you got things you'd like to plug coming up? You're doing gigs in Perth? No.
No. Oh, no.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, how many Perth listeners do you have? Like
A lot.
It's just us, isn't it?
No,
What?
plenty.
Yeah, there's heaps over there.
No,
Heaps.
there's a
Okay.
big group.
Well,
Yeah.
then in that case, come and see me at old. I don't know what I'm doing. I might not even do it. Are you doing it?
I'm meant to be, but I haven't anything, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Good ad.
You enrolled? When the fuck did we enroll?
Oh, it was supposed to be a month ago.
Oh shit! Well, yeah,
Yeah.
come to Fringe World.
It's not like Edith Cowan where you can just do it late.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, well, I missed the window.
You guys need
Well,
to
that's
meet a
in-
girl in
so-
the smoking section and then you'll be registered straight away.
Yeah, that's in January and February anyway. So you guys will be doing a show probably
It's
probably
hard.
together.
We lose track. We've got so many gigs out here. You're down the
Yeah.
beach. You got partying. You got all things on.
Yeah,
You got two people in a room. It's all going on.
yeah. You're allowed to lick things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can.
you've even got the lights on in there. It looks fucking great. Can't wait.
Yeah, we got electricity.
All right,
Awesome,
guys.
man.
Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. See
See
you,
you,
mate.
mate.